Great game in Spain at El Madrigal. Villarreal taking on Barcelona. What a match this was. Lionel Messi rested, didn't start this game. 12 minutes in, though. It's Barca who take the lead. Coutinho making it 1-0.
Yeah, and Barca just finding it really easy going in the early exchanges. Malcolm onside and then give him the freedom to run down the right-hand side. Puts it on a platter for Coutinho.
4 minutes later, it's 2-0. Vidal setting up Malcolm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ball, floated into the back post area, and Malcolm with a lovely header home, right off the meat of the bat, into the far corner.
3 minutes after that, Coutinho with a chance to make it 3-0. Barcelona completely dominating the opening exchanges here.
Should have scored, but misguided the little flick.
Villarreal, though, get themselves back into the game. Chukwueze making it 2-1.
That's a really good ball to pick out Chukwueze in the first instance, and then good strength, a little bit unlucky, deflection takes it off the post, but then how he composes himself after is simply incredible. One touch, just opens his body up and slides it past Ter Stegen.
And then what a start to the second half for Villarreal. It can be just taking it all the way, wrong footing Ter Stegen.
Listen, You've got to question Ter Stegen. At the same time, I think Nkembe's trying to cross this ball. I really don't think he's gone for a goal. I think he's got away with one there.
12 minutes later, it gets even better for Villarreal. Morelanes finding Vicente Iborra to make it 3-2.
Yeah, good run. Spent his run. The full-back's keeping him on. Lovely little ball down the inside of the centre-half and full-back, and then a good finish.
It was almost 4-2 just moments later, but for Ter Stegen.
Again, Barcelona incredibly stretched at the back. Chukwueze cuts inside. Deflection, you think, is taking it over Ter Stegen. But that is incredible strength and some reaction.
Messi brought on then in the second half. Couldn't stop them going 4-2 down, though. Santi Cazorla with the ball through to Carlos Barca.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic ball and a fantastic finish. Barca just keeps calm, goes past Ter Stegen and rolls it in.
Villarreal reduced to 10 men, though, with 4 minutes to go. Alvaro with the foul on Luis Suarez to get his second yellow.
Brain dead.
Yeah.
On a yellow, straight through the back of him. Yellow all day.
So 4-2, Messi gets what looks like is a consolation for Barca in some style as well, by the way.
There is some style. That's a goalkeeper's side, but still, I think there's absolutely nothing the keeper could do about it. Not cheating, trying to wait till the last minute, but look at how exact that is from Messi.
And then in the 93rd minute, from 4-2 down, Luis Suarez makes it 4-4.
That's a beautiful, beautiful volley. He's stretching Suarez as well. It's on his weakest left side. But that's such a clean strike through the defender's legs. Goalkeeper just doesn't have enough time to react.
An extraordinary game as it finishes. Villarreal 4, Barcelona 4. It was so strange because the opening 20 minutes, Stevie, Barca could have got 3 or 4. But then in the second half, their defence just completely capitulated.
Disappeared,
and
yeah.
Villarreal could have had more.
Yeah, I mean, Coutinho should have killed the game off, didn't. But Villarreal, you've got to give them credit. And as you said, defensively, I mean, Umtiti and Langley at the back. More Langley, I would suggest. But in the middle of the park, they don't defend in the middle of the park either. So that means that whether it's Villarreal or anybody else, they're getting at the back line, creating chances and scoring goals. It's
state the obvious award, isn't it, really, Craig? I know, but without Lionel Messi, this Barcelona team doesn't offer much.
Absolutely, and let's not forget as well, they've got such a healthy lead at the top of the league. There could be a little bit of taking their eye off the ball with the Champions League as well, because they have got that gap. But you can get at Barcelona. I mean, that's been the case from the start of the season.
Yep.
You can get at them. And Villarreal did a great job after taking a right bloody nose in the first 20 minutes of coming back and really putting up a great show.
So what that means with regards to the title race, Craig said, it's pretty much over. Atleti did win today, and it is Atletico Madrid against Barcelona at the Camp Nou on Saturday. If Atleti do win that, it's down to 5 points, and they would have then the head-to-head advantage. Meanwhile, action in Italy today. Cagliari taking on Juventus. A lot of talk about what happened in the crowd in this game. It's like 20 minutes in. Moise Kean goes down, is booked for simulation.
And rightly so. You can spot this a mile off. He is halfway down before the challenge even comes in. Leaves the referee with absolutely no choice.
2 minutes later, Bonucci would make it 1-0.
Yeah, it's a beautiful header. It's just a big ball thrown in. And he makes it his and then just guides it into that bottom right-hand corner.
And the 77th minute, Paveletti with a header over the bar.
Half a chance.
Now, reports throughout this game that Moise Kean was racially abused by some fans. He would score here to make it 2-0. You can see his celebration. And then there'd be a heat exchange between the Juve players, the referee as well. Everyone trying to sort everything out here. A lot of reaction to these after the game. Let's start off, shall we, from Bonucci. Ken knows that when he scores a goal, he has to focus on celebrating with his teammates. He knows he could have done something differently too. There were racist cheers after that goal. Blaise heard it and was angered. I think the blame is 50-50 because Moise shouldn't have done that and the Curver should not have reacted that way. We are professionals. We have to set the example and not provoke anyone. I know everyone's keen to make reference to that. That's Gab, I just want to start with you and your reaction to that reaction.
I'm frankly pretty surprised. I mean, maybe the only mitigating factor could be that, as some have suggested, Bonucci didn't realize that Moise Kean felt he had been racially abused before, and this was his response to it. He maybe just saw it as like, well, look, he wound them up. But to apportion 50% of the blame to Moise Kean just simply makes no sense whatsoever. I think a normal person would react, okay, so if you feel that you're being provoked by an opposing striker, you boo him, you insult him, but you don't cross the line into racist abuse. So I'm frankly pretty appalled by what Bonucci said.
Yeah, you get ready to double down with that because then the Cagliari president, Tommaso Gallini, would take it a step further, and this is embarrassing, to be honest. If Bernardeschi had celebrated like that, he would have been treated exactly the same way by our fans. If Dybala had the same drama queen antics after the goal that Matuidi did, he would have been treated exactly the same. I don't want people to start being self-righteous about it because I heard that already, whereas Juventus players came to me afterwards and confessed Ken was wrong to celebrate that way. We cannot go around calling the entire Cagliari crowd offensive things. If they were racist jeers, then our fans got it wrong, but it happened because of the celebration and would have happened even if the goal scorer had a different colour of skin. That is embarrassing, isn't it, Gab?
Yeah, and I mean, I heard Giulini's speak after the game, a slightly different version, but the gist was the gist was pretty much the same, and obviously it's entirely absurd. I don't think anybody's going to racially abuse Bernardeschi, who happens to be white, even if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, where maybe he didn't realize that Moise Kean felt he'd been racially abused before. We're in outer space territory here, and he did the same thing, which always happens. He says, "Oh, but the crowd, it was a minority in the crowd. We are not a racist club. We're not a racist fan base." This happened with Montari a couple years ago, and he wrote this whole screed about how Cagliari's a really tolerant city and there isn't much racism. Nobody's attacking the city of Cagliari. Nobody's attacking the Cagliari fan base. Nobody's attacking the club. What people are taking issue with, even if it's a minority, is the fact that Moise Kean goes to play a football match and gets racially abused because of the color of his skin. That's the simple part. It simply doesn't matter. If you're so upset by Moise Kean's celebration, there's 101 things you can shout at him and you can call him without moving into racist territory. That's the point which Mr. Giulini evidently doesn't seem to understand. And he doesn't understand. This is the third time, by the way, that this has happened at Cagliari. It happened with Blaise Matuidi last year. Giulini apologized to him on that occasion. And it happened with Sully Muntari a couple years before that. I don't know why it's so difficult to get this point across, why you can't say the stance that Inter took after the racial abuse of Koulibaly, who said, anybody who does this, we don't want you here. I don't care if it's one guy, 10 guys, or 10,000 people. You're not part of this club. You're not wanted. And if we catch you, you're out of here. It's very, very simple for a club president to send that message. And this guy evidently doesn't get it.
Where do you want to start, Shaq?
I'll say this is the most disgusting example of victim blaming I have seen in football for quite some time. On the one hand, Giulini, in what he has to say, as awful as it is, he's trying to defend his own. Bonucci's comments, though, encapsulates exactly what is wrong with Italian football and why this issue is not going anywhere anytime soon as far as Serie A and Italian football is concerned. If you see your teammate, whether you recognize the abuse he's getting before or not, and he reacts the way he does, and then you apportion 50%, any of the blame to him, it says so much more about the mentality of people like Leonardo Bonucci and their acceptance of players like Moise Kean within that dressing room and their role in Italian football going forward. When you see the likes of Matuidi react as he does, it says exactly how deep that abuse was for both him and Ken during the course of this game. And then the Cagliari president come out and labeling that as drama queen antics. Now, I'm really not sure how you gloss over all of this. I really don't. And it's time for the authorities to take very strong action here. Take action against the club, close sections of the stands, sanction club presidents, hefty fines, whatever it may be. Similarly, I think Juventus as a club, given who they are, given their own reputation, their own standing in the game, have to take issue with what Bonucci said. That is not representative of Juventus, or should not be representative of Juventus. And there's a lot of blame to go around here. In my opinion, absolutely none of it falls at the doorstep of either Moise Kean or Blaise Matuidi.
It was, of course, 3 points for Juventus in the end. Just taking a look at what that means. They are, of course, home and hose when it comes to winning the title.